Imagine driving down a highway wide enough to land a commercial airliner and seeing no one. Not a single car. Just 20 lanes of perfect concrete stretching endlessly in both directions. You pass massive, glittering government buildings, entire ministries, hotels, shopping centers, and yet it feels like a ghost town. This isn't a forgotten relic of a failed mega project. It's Naypyidaw, the capital of Myanmar, built by its secretive military regime for an estimated $7 billion. It covers 7,000 square kilometers, more than 4 times the size of London, but barely feels alive. The land was purchased quietly, 50,000 acres, enough for a city twice the size of San Francisco. And when it was finally revealed to the public in 2005, almost no one understood why it existed. So what is this place? Was it a paranoid overreach by a reclusive dictatorship? Or is Naypyidaw serving its true purpose perfectly? Just not in the way we'd expect. Let's dig in. Naypyidaw is unlike any other capital city on Earth. There's no dense core, no organic growth, no street vendors or heavy foot traffic. Everything is segmented. Everything is spacious. Everything is too perfect. The layout is eerie. You've got zones for ministries, zones for hotels, zones for housing. The shopping districts feel more like showroom cities than commercial hubs. You can drive for 15 minutes between sectors without seeing another person. One of the airports built here was designed to handle 3.5 million passengers per year. In reality, it's lucky to see a few hundred in a day. The city's centerpiece is a vast boulevard that cuts straight through the government quarter. A 20-lane highway that's mostly empty, even during rush hour. Google Street View doesn't even function properly in most areas because there's nothing to capture. It looks like someone built a capital using a SimCity cheat code and then forgot to invite the citizens. To understand why Naypyidaw exists, you need to understand the fear that shaped it. Myanmar, or Burma as it was formerly known, has had one of the most turbulent political histories in Southeast Asia. After gaining independence in 1948, the country quickly spiraled into internal conflict. Military coups, communist rebellions, ethnic insurgencies. It's never really stopped. The military junta took over in 1962 and for decades ran the country with extreme secrecy, censorship, and force. Yangon, formerly Rangoon, was the capital, but it had problems. It was coastal, crowded, and politically unstable. During the 1988 uprising, hundreds of thousands of protesters filled the streets of Yangon. The military responded with brutal force. Over 3,000 people were killed. That event planted a seed. Yangon was too vulnerable. So, around 2002, construction began in secret. Entire departments of government were quietly shifted to a site deep inland, hundreds of kilometers from Yangon. No one outside the military elite knew what was happening. Then, on November 6, 2005, tens of thousands of civil servants were ordered to move, immediately. No explanation, no warning. The capital had shifted overnight. The generals had a new home, and it wasn't designed for the people. Today, what exists in Naypyidaw is a surreal mix of grandeur and emptiness. There's the Apadasanti Pagoda, built to mirror Yangon's iconic Shwedagon Pagoda. It's almost identical in size and design, but it lacks the centuries of history and the crowds. Then there are the ministry zones, where government offices line wide avenues, each separated by large patches of land, security fences, and checkpoints. The layout makes it incredibly difficult to organize mass protests or any kind of public demonstration. Hotels were built with foreign diplomats and international summits in mind. Yet many remain eerily vacant, run by minimal staff, waiting for guests who never come. Residential areas are highly structured. Government workers are assigned homes, often grouped by department. Their rooftops are painted in specific colors: blue for education, green for energy, red for defense, making surveillance easier. In most cities, people shape the neighborhoods. In Naypyidaw, the neighborhoods were shaped first, and the people were slotted into them like pieces in a military puzzle. A lot of the city's design starts to make sense when viewed through a military lens. The enormous roads, They weren't just meant for traffic. Analysts have confirmed that at least some stretches are long and flat enough to land aircraft, a tactic seen in other authoritarian regimes as well. Those massive roundabouts? They break up long, straight lines, useful in preventing mass marches or convoy attacks. Each circle can act as a choke point, making it easier to isolate and control crowds or invading forces. Buildings are spread out on purpose. There's no downtown in the traditional sense, just sectors designed to function independently and defensively. And while the civilian population rarely sees them, there are military installations embedded throughout the city. It's rumored that entire battalions can mobilize within minutes. It's a city that doesn't breathe like a capital. It operates like a command post. Despite all the planning, the reality on the ground is less impressive. In March 2024, a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck the Naypyidaw region. Dozens of government buildings were damaged. Some collapsed entirely, despite being only 15 to 20 years old. An investigation revealed widespread construction issues, poor concrete mixtures, corroded steel, shallow foundations. More than 116 buildings, including ministries, data centers, and telecom hubs, suffered structural damage. The military's need for speed and secrecy during the early 2000s led to shortcuts. And now, even their fortress isn't as solid as they thought. So why stay here? Because strategically, Naypyidaw is nearly ideal for the junta. It's far from the coast, elevated and surrounded by hills, offering natural protection from both invasion and weather events like cyclones. There are whispers, never officially confirmed, that the city contains a network of underground tunnels, some possibly designed with help from North Korean engineers. These tunnels are said to include bunkers, escape routes, and communication hubs, allowing generals to operate even under siege. Think of it like this: if Yangon fell into chaos, Naypyidaw would still be operational. That's not a bug, that's the whole point. Fast forward to today, and the contrast couldn't be more dramatic. In Yangon and Mandalay, anti-coup protests have continued despite brutal crackdowns. Civil war has spread across much of the country. Ethnic militias and the People's Defense Force are actively fighting military forces. But in Naypyidaw? Silence. The city remains clean, organized, and mostly untouched. The military lives in isolation, surrounded by buffer zones, guarded compounds, and wide avenues. It's not a capital in the traditional sense. It's a safe zone, a staging ground, and a symbol, not of national unity, but of control. So here we are, a city built in secret, costing billions, in a country where millions live in poverty. Was Naypyidaw a colossal misstep, an example of authoritarian hubris? Or is it doing exactly what it was meant to? Isolate the regime, insulate the leadership, and project power from behind concrete walls. Either way, it raises bigger questions about who cities are really built for, and what happens when power is more interested in safety than service. What do you think? Is Naypyidaw a failure or a fortress? Let us know in the comments. If you liked this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and share your thoughts. We read every comment. Thanks for watching.